Good morning. Welcome back out to the shop. It's the Friday after Thanksgiving, and the wife is away with her sisters on their annual shopping trip, so I got some time to get in the shop. So I thought I'd get some more parts cleaned up. I'm going to focus on all the ball screw, the lead screw, and the gear changer. No. The engagement lever rod, whatever that bottom one is. I can't think of the name of it right now. You turn the camera on and everything that's in your brain makes you think you have a third grade education all of a sudden. But we got parts cleaned up this week. I got all the covers for the oil reservoirs on the gearbox done and painted and ready to go back on. I got the lead screw, ball screw support for the end completed. Got new bearings ordered that I could find. I couldn't find the one for the lead screw. So this is just, I couldn't find anything like it. The closest thing I could find was like a Model A axle or Model T axle bearing. It's not quite exactly what I wanted and not quite the right size. And so I soaked this in Purple Power for two days, come out, cleaned it up, and it's very functional. So we're probably going to put that back on. Got this all cleaned up, ready to go. An interesting note that when I was cleaning this up, after I sandblasted, I was like, what the heck? Something was in these two holes. And it's the back side of where the alignment pins go. And I couldn't figure out what it was. So I dug at it, and the top one, it ended up being wood. And it was rotted so bad, I just dug it all out. The bottom one came out in one piece, and it was a wooden dowel. And I just thought it was interesting. They packed the remaining space with a wooden dowel and sanded it smooth and then painted it, and you didn't even know it until I took it off. And of course, these other three, here, I got it upside down. These other thrhree are for oiling cups. So we'll put a small piece of wicking in there, put the oil cup in there, and get some new oil cups, matter of fact, from McMaster-Carr. If I didn't already order them, I may have already got them. And we'll get those, and we'll put those installed, get those installed. And what else? I've got most of the handles painted. This is the last one from the gearbox. So I got it off, painted it, sandblasted it, deburred or wire brushed it, and then I run it on the Scotch-Brite wheel. So it looks very good. The handle come out great. So nice and shiny, brand new looking. So I can't wait to get that installed. Cleaned up all the rods, got all the burrs off of them, degreased everything the best I could, lubed it down with oil. And then this one is one of the only handles that didn't have a broken spring in it. So we got the spring material from McMaster-Carr, so we'll have one that we can measure the exact length of. I'll probably make it a 1/4 inch longer because I'm sure these relaxed over the last 75 years. So we'll get that installed. We'll get all these handles built and put back together and installed. And what else? And we'll get done what we can get done. We'll get 15, 20 minutes of footage out of it, hopefully. So, and then another thing, I upped the audio game. I hope I did anyway. Excuse me, the quality that I had from the Heil Bluetooth module worked great. I really loved it. It was inconvenient that I only had one. So this past week, I just happened in my email seeing a special from Amazon for this Alvoxcom wireless headset lapel mic. So we're going to try it out, and it's dual. So I have one, and one of them's over there on the charger right now. And that way when Mike comes over here, we'll be able to, the audio will be the same strength anyway. So we'll do that. But I thought that was, doing that. And I'm filming this one with the DSLR. This whole series, I'm going to use the DSLR, or not series, I said this episode of the saga of the Sidney Lathe. I'm going to use the DSLR. I like the quality of this one better. I do not like the autofocus as well as I do the camcorder. And it may be something of me just upping my camcorder. So I know a guy who's got a Vixia G50, which is a pretty good camera. And I think I'm going to borrow that one. So I believe it's 4K. So you can shoot it in 4K, and then you can downsize it to 1080. But you should be able to zoom in post-production and get some pretty good shots with that too. So just trying to up the video game a little bit. So I think that's it. So let me quit rambling here, and we'll get some stuff put back together. So let me reposition cameras. We'll get some of this stuff, the bearings installed, and get those handles built, and we'll move over to the lathe. So see you in a minute. All right, so this is the cover down here, keep the chips out from underneath the headstock. So just checking out the screws, making sure they're good to go. I chased the threads with a tap, and we'll go ahead and install this. I reckon it just keeps it from, piling up in there. Should be straightforward, but you never know. It came off here, so it has to go back on here. That's the way I look at it. Cleaned up the screw heads with the Scotch-Brite wheel. Soaked them in purple power, as always. And then Scotch-Brited them. They look good. So this is one cover down. Let's see if we can get it turned all the way. I wanted the lines to match, but oh well, that's not going to happen. So when I'm putting in electrical covers, I always try to make sure all the slotted screws are facing the same way, either up and down or horizontal. So anyway, can't do it there. Moving on, next cover. All right, our next two covers are right here. See where I'm going to have to touch up a little paint. I thought those covers went all the way to the outside. Well, maybe it does if I flip it around. Nope, still a hair short. Matter of fact, that looks a little more crooked, so we'll put it back on this way. So we'll touch up this paint here after we get the covers installed. So this cover goes there, and then this bigger cover, of course, goes over here. On like that, and then it looks like the same way. I'm gonna have to touch that paint up right through there, but no big deal. So I'm not gonna put this one on yet because I have to install the selector lever here. So I need to be able to get into that, which we should do that today. We'll go ahead and put the two felts that we made and cut and that's been soaking. So these are ready to go. And this is the one that goes this way. So the bigger one goes on the left. Big one goes on the left. We'll just let that drain in there. It's not going to hurt a thing. And the small one goes over here. So put up our trusty little old Melissa and Doug's child's paint cups. Love those things. So we'll put that in. That might be the wrong opposite way. So let's take that back out. I don't have my pick handy, but I got my tap handy. There we go. Much better. And we'll put some oil in there and let that start doing its thing. And we'll go ahead and put this one in. Can't remember why the cutout was. It was that way. So it goes that way. And so now that one's ready to go. We'll put some more oil in them, and they'll let gravity do its thing. So for the small cover, went ahead and chased the threads. Of course, my drill wouldn't fit in here. I know, probably should have used a hand tap, but, I'm come from a manufacturing world where speed is everything. So had no problem. Anyway, I just took it off the holder, or took it out of the drill, and just ran it in there by hand. Of course, it went in no problem at all. So we'll do that. Put the cover on. And make sure I have it oriented the way I want it. That looks the straighter of the two ways. And again, I polished the screws up on the deburring wheel, so it looks really, really good. And in that short time, I've misplaced my screwdriver. So let me grab a screwdriver and I'll come right back. Beginning to wonder if that passage was from up there to down here. If oil comes from here and leaches down to here, because I don't see a way to put oil in that one. Let's take that back off and take another look inside. Maybe there was a passageway I didn't see without any flashlight. Let me grab a flashlight and, oh, there is. I can see it there. Sure is. So oil comes from the top, leaches down into this reservoir and keeps that one soaked. So it does have a big oil cup on this side that goes right there. So I was wondering about that, just happened to think about it again. So I'm glad I got that pre-soaked now, so it won't take so much to get down through there. It's a little chilly, so you probably heard the wood stove kick on. Looks good. And then this cover goes right here. Of course, we're not going to put that on yet, but we'll leave it on there for now. And we'll go ahead and, while I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure this takes SAE 30. So I just happen to have some here, or it might be, yeah. You know what? I better look it up just to make sure. They were soaking in 30 weight, but it might take 20. So I have some 20, but I'm going to look it up and make sure which oil it's supposed to have. If you're, I think I downloaded the manual from Keith Rutger's vintagemachinery.org or off the internet somewhere. I'm pretty sure I got it from Keith's site though. But if you're looking for old machinery manuals, that's a good place to start looking. So there's the two covers. And we'll get on with we'll get some handles put on there. Starting to look like a lathe now. I'll be back. All right, so I think we're ready for some assembly. Let's get these bearings in here first. I guess this one, it just fits in, no big deal. So we'll slide that in later on, or maybe we won't. So we'll slide that in. And then we have these two, and I don't have a press, so we're going to old-fashioned it here. One side, and this bearing's on the other side, and I'll seat those totally. I'll grab a punch and go around it, or maybe I might go into the toolbox to see if I got a big socket. Matter of fact, let me go see if I got one. I'll be right back. And I do. So we'll use that. That might be one of our next big purchases. Is either that or we may make one. That'd be kind of neat. I haven't made one, something like that. I'll ask Mike. I have that 20 foot of I-beam left, which would be perfect to build it out of. So this goes on here. I don't care about this extension, so but it's easier to go down. Of course, that might be seated all the way. Nope, not quite. That is, though. So that's one. We'll flip it over and do the other side. Ooh. Just a little more. There we go. So that's both bearings seated there. So that's good to go. It has an end cap on here that will get cleaned up when we get this mounted. We'll get all that on there. And of course, where's that other bearing at? So I won't lose it. That goes in right there. So that's that part done, ready to go back on. So we'll move it over here out of the way. All right, moving on. Let's do some handles. Let's seat back to where I want it. Let's see. We'll do this one first. And I seem to have misplaced, or they're either in the bottom of the parts washer, these taper pins for some of these handles. So I need to order them before we can put those together. But we'll go ahead and get this one completed and put back together. That woodwork key and the roll pin. And then bench block, need it. And the spring material. So here's the spring material from a MasterCard. So, might be the same size. I don't remember now. Yeah, they're both the same size. So, it's both the same. It's a little bit tighter weave, or tighter, probably more spring tension than the old one was. So we're going to cut these just a hair longer than the ones that are on there. So let me grab a pair of dikes, an old pair of dikes, because that might be some pretty good metal. Ooh, way tougher than I thought it was going to be. Well, that's kind of surprised me how tough that stuff is. So let me grab a Ziz wheel with, abrasive cutoff wheel, and I'll cut these off, and I'll be right back. You know what? I'm gonna, just for my sanity, I'm gonna try it. With the old spring, just because this just doesn't feel right to me. Oh yeah, that's much different. That must be just a hair bigger than the old one. And it's making all the difference in the world, so. Oh yeah. There, we're gonna use the old spring until we can source some newer ones. So we'll get our bench block. Might have got it on the wrong backwards. I thought the hole going through the pin was the same size. Evidently not. So we'll knock that back out. And we're going to rotate it 180. Then reinstall the pin. Maybe. I can do this without losing my orientation. Man, these other guys make this look so easy. And I'm looking like a clown doing it. Finally. Oh yeah. That works good. So that's that. And then I know that this bar went in. Let's see. Get my orientation right here. Woodruff key was up, handle was down. So let's tap this into place. And then the roll pin went into that. Oh no, that's a taper pin. So let's pay attention here. That looks like the right side. So that's almost all the way in here. Let me grab a big punch. And just to protect the paint a little bit, I'm going to put a cloth over it. There we go. So that's that handle installed. So, all right, we'll move over to the lathe and get that thing installed, and then we put the cover on. So let's reposition the camera. So you know those times when you don't want to get ahead of yourself, and I said maybe the gearbox will have to come off again. This is one of them times. So the woodruff key for the handle, it's installed. But now the coupling won't fit. So I'm trying to see, do I just cut some of this off and get it to go in? Because, I mean, it just lacks, just a little bit. Half an inch, and then it slides in to go on the other side. Or what I'm probably going to do is pull the gearbox off. Just sling it up, lift it up a hair, get this part installed, at least get the handle installed onto here, and then when we install it back into the gearbox, this will slide on. And then we can finish reinstalling it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So where we last left off, we were talking about the shaft coupler right here that is it won't go in now. So what I got to do is take the gearbox back off with. So that's what we're going to do. And I had to run to the store, evidently lost that woodruff key that goes in the shaft that's in the machine or on the base part of it. And so the Ace Hardware store, just luckily enough, had some. I'm pretty sure it's the right size. But in the meantime, we need to take the gearbox back loose though, so we can get all that back together. So what I'll do is I'll just take it loose enough to slide it out. We'll put the shaft back in with the coupling, and then we'll slide the coupling all up there on there is what I'm hoping for anyway. So figure out where all these screws are at again. Oop, wrong size. All right, get all the right size stuff. And I got a ball head to do most of the work. And to get it out, I'm going to use the square one so it won't fall off and fall in the gearbox. Well, at this point, it really doesn't matter. But, whoops, I just said what I was going to do, and I did exact opposite. We're going to loosen it up with this one. Nah, I said I would. That one might be coming all the way out. And it did. And let me put some gloves on so I don't get this anti-seize all over me. So we'll put all the bolts up here on the top. Come on, I know you're right there. Go ahead and put the square one in because I definitely can't see up in that hole. And we'll take it completely loose. Yeah, it fell out anyway. So luckily we're taking it back off, so we'll get it off then. So we'll put that there. I got too many tools laying around again. And we're just going to crack these loose until we get it slung up. All right. So those are loose. Let me put some gloves on. You know what? That looks like a better spot. Even though there ain't a lot to hold on to there. You know what? Better get it over here. That looks pretty centered. Oops, wrong way. Get this everything centered up. Looks pretty close. All right, there we go. Now we can finish taking off the weight. There we go. Whoa. And that's why you sling it up. Well, at least we have access to everything now. All right, while it's there, might as well get this part done. So this is the shaft that goes in here. There we go. And this goes right there like so. There it is. All right, now we're ready to go. So put that back up here. We got to get that bolt out that fell. So it's right in here. Should be. There it is. You know what? I'm going to have to get a magnet to get that out. So let me grab a magnet and we'll be right back. It's not a big opening. Come on. There we go. So I should have 4 bolts out. All right. So let's see if we can put this back without hurting ourselves and getting all this other stuff lined up. Sorry about that. I thought I had the camera running. So it wasn't too bad. Found the Woodruff key. Lucky enough, last time I was at our local little Ace hardware store, which is on this side of town. It saved me 30 minutes of driving on a trip. They had Woodruff keys. They had the right side Woodruff key. And lo and behold, when I went up there too, they also had taper pins. So those taper pins that I was going to have to order, I can just pick them up locally now. I wish I'd have known it. I'd have put one in my pocket and we'd have had it. So let's get this back together. So I got the 2 bottom bolts started, still slung up on the crane. I need to line this. Well, I reckon if it all fits together, it's self-aligned, so it's lining up good. But I need to get these other 2 started. I'd like to get them started anyway. So again, with the long, not the ball end, but the other one, regular, I reckon you would say, and try not to drop the thing. Find the hole and pray that it gets started. Yep, feels like it went right in. So that's that one. This one you can see, but you still don't want to drop it because you got to take the thing back down. But at least you can see this hole to get it started. There we go. Oh, now the handle's in the way. What do you know? What do you know? Oh, we can slide. It's not hooked up yet, so we'll get it started. All right, there we go. That started. Now I need my little Allen key right here. And then I reckon we can go ahead and start this on. That looks about right there. Oh yeah. That looks like it right there. Hope it is. We'll tighten up the set screw. Make sure it's in the hole pretty close. All right. So that's in. Of course, nothing's turning, so I doubt we're going to get it to move any gear that I need it to move to. So that's good to go. So there we go. Now we need to tighten up all of the fastening bolts for the hex head, for the gearbox. Come on. Not going to happen without an extension there. And right there. Come on, let loose. Yeah, this one's just in the way. Maybe I got enough now. There we go. There we go. So now the gearbox is installed. All right, so while we're at it, we're gonna go ahead and pour the rest of this oil down here. Oops, might as well unscrew it. There we go. And then let that start seeping where it needs to seep. And we'll put the cover on. All right, there's one. And the other screw fell into my oil bucket earlier. So we'll dig it out right quick. It ought to be well lubricated. And I went ahead and I did run a tap down in those, just a 1/4 tap. So there we go. And that completes, I hope, but I really don't mind if I have to take it back off. But the install of the gearbox, got a little touch-up paint to do. But I like it. It's starting to look like something again. Once we get all the handles on, I'll run by the Ace Hardware store tomorrow and I'll pick up the rest of the taper pins that I need for the ones that I lost. I found one on the floor just a little bit ago, but I don't know how they got there. I don't know where they're at, so I might as well just go ahead and get some more. And then what'll really make this thing pop is the big old brass thread, or the feed per inch chart that's here. There's a couple more tags here and here that need to be redone. And then the handles all shined out. You know, it's really going to look good. So I think with that now, I think that'll do it for today. So tomorrow, I think we'll tackle those feed rods again. After we'll do the handles. We'll do the handles and then we'll work on the feed rods. So might have to shoot for a video on this week. Anyway, see ya.